All right, let's talk about a classic backyard birding headache, the blue jay. You know, they're bold, they're beautiful, but man, they can be a little overbearing. If you're someone who loves feeding birds, but you're just getting frustrated by these super smart corvids, that's the bird family with crows and ravens, then this is for you. We're going to figure out how to manage your feeders so everybody gets a fair shake.
I mean, does this sound familiar or what? You put out all this fresh seed, you step back to enjoy the little finches and chickadees, and bam! A flash of blue just descends, scattering everyone. It happens all the time, but today we're going to get it sorted out.
So, first things first, before we can fix the problem, we've got to understand what's actually going on. Why do blue jays act like this? It's not just them being mean, it's a very specific strategy, and it's all driven by just how smart they are. And this, right here, this is the key. We tend to see them as backyard bullies, but an ornithologist, a bird expert, sees them as intelligent competitors. The folks at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology always remind us they're not being malicious. They're just, well, they're outcompeting everybody for a food source they've cleverly found. And that's the whole philosophy behind this explainer. The goal is not to banish blue jays. I mean, they're a native species, they belong here. The real goal is smart management. It's about redirecting all that energy and appetite so that all of your birds can live together peacefully. Okay, let's get down to business. First up, we're going to put together what I like to call the anti-jay feeder kit. This is all about changing two things, the menu and the hardware. And this is rule number one for sure. If your feeders are just overflowing with peanuts and black oil sunflower seeds, you've basically just rolled out the red carpet and sent a personal invitation to every single blue jay in the neighborhood. So, step one is to become a much more selective restaurant owner. So here's the swap. You take out what the jays love and you put in what they don't. The real game changer here is safflower seed. Smaller birds like cardinals and finches, they're totally fine with it. But blue jays, they find it a little bitter, and most of the time they'll just leave it alone. Same thing with tiny Niger seed. It's perfect for finches, but way too much of a hassle for a big blue jay. So once you've changed the menu, it's time to remodel the dining room. Seriously, the type of feeder you use can either welcome the jays with open arms or politely show them the door. And those open platform feeders, yeah, that's an open invitation. The fix is to use feeders that literally keep them out. Cage-style feeders are perfect. Chickadees and nuthatches can slip right through the bars, but a blue jay is just too big to fit. Even cooler are the weight-activated feeders. A little bird lands, no problem. But when a big, heavy bird like a blue jay lands, click. The feeding ports snap right shut. Okay, so you've got the right food and the right feeders. Now let's zoom out and look at the whole picture, the layout of your backyard. Because where you put your feeders matters a lot. 12 feet. Burn this number into your brain. This is the absolute minimum open space you want all around your feeders. Why? Well, blue jays are smart predators. They'll hide in dense bushes or on low branches and then ambush the smaller birds. Creating this buffer zone gives the little guys a fighting chance to see them coming and get away. And here's how we can build on that idea. Height and spacing are your best friends. 5 to 6 feet high is a great spot for your feeders, but the distance between them is so important. If you space them 10 to 15 feet apart, you make it basically impossible for one territorial jay to guard all the feeders at once, and that creates openings for everyone else. So we've talked about food, feeders, and placement, and that's all great defense. But the single most effective move, the one that all the experts and birders swear by, it actually switches from defense to, well, diplomacy. It's going to sound a little weird, but trust me, it works like nothing else. That's it. Instead of trying to keep them out, you invite them in, but to a specific designated spot. You set up a feeder that is just for them, and you put it away from all your other feeders. And honestly, it really does feel like magic. You fill this one feeder with everything they go nuts for, peanuts, corn, sunflower seeds. And because jays are so fiercely territorial, they will claim this amazing spot as their own. They'll spend all their energy defending it instead of raiding your other stations. And for this strategy, here's the magic number, 30 feet. You want to place this dedicated jay feeder about 30 feet away from your main feeding area. That's enough separation to create two totally distinct zones in your yard, one for the jays and one for everybody else. I absolutely love this phrase, backyard diplomacy. It just perfectly captures the new mindset. You're not declaring war on the blue jays anymore. You're negotiating a peace treaty.
You're giving them what they want, but you're doing it on your terms, and in a way that creates balance for your entire backyard community. All right, so our diplomatic treaty is in place. Now let's talk about the final touches. These are the little fine-tuning tricks that are going to help you maintain this new peaceful balance you've created. Now, this is a subtle but really clever move, using cleanliness as a strategy. See, smaller birds, they're a bit more cautious. They really prefer a super clean feeder. Blue jays, they're not so picky. So by keeping your main songbird feeder spotless, but maybe letting the jay feeder get a little messy, you subtly nudge each group to their correct spot. And hey, when you do clean them, you can't go wrong with the method Audubon recommends. Just a good scrub with soap and water, and then a 15-minute soak in a vinegar solution. That vinegar is a fantastic, natural, and totally bird-safe disinfectant. It gets rid of all the nasty bacteria and keeps your visitors healthy. And here are just a few last pro tips to really lock it all in. Try adding a lower feeder, maybe 3 or 4 feet off the ground, for birds that like to feed down low. And definitely vary your refill times. It keeps the jays from getting on a predictable schedule. Oh, and bringing your feeders in at dusk, that can stop them from hogging everything first thing in the morning.
You know, when you boil it all down, the core message is right here. Blue jays are just a vibrant, incredibly intelligent part of the world around us. The goal was never to get rid of them. It was to understand them and to work with their nature to create a backyard that everyone can enjoy. By redirecting the jays and protecting the songbirds, you really can have the best of both worlds. So I guess the only question left is, are you ready to become a backyard diplomat and bring a little peace and balance back to your feeders?